Griffin was shaking. Not from fear, at least not the kind that makes sense, but from that slow, rising voltage that creeps into your bones when something isn't right. The air around him felt too still, like the world had paused to listen. He was halfway through his shift on a sticky August afternoon in a corner of Louisiana. Most people just drive past. When it happened, he'd pulled her over on Route 9. A black woman, late 30s, poised, silent. Her ID was smooth in his hand. He barely glanced at the name before. Without a word, he struck a match and lit the corner. The edges curled and blackened. Her eyes didn't widen. She didn't flinch. She just leaned forward and with a voice like a cracked hymn said, "You should have looked closer, Griffin." That was the first thing that didn't make sense, because she never asked how he knew her name, never blinked at the flame, and before he could speak, she stepped backward into the heat shimmering off the asphalt and vanished. Not metaphorically. Not like turned and walked away. No, she vanished. She, like the road itself, swallowed her whole, leaving behind only a sick, sweet scent of magnolia and something that made his eyes water. And now you're here, watching this. Maybe because part of you knows something's wrong too. Maybe you've felt that same hum under your skin like someone's watching you, but not from a place you can point to. Maybe you clicked this because the title felt like a mistake, a lie, a provocation. But here you are, staring at the screen, watching security footage the sheriff's department swore was corrupted, listening to audio that tech said couldn't be restored, but somehow it plays clear as a bell, and you hear it too, don't you? Her voice. You should have looked closer. People said Griffin lost his mind after that, but they didn't see what was in his locker, the file he left behind, tucked between shift schedules and weathered citations. A photograph of the woman. Same clothes, same calm eyes, only it was dated 1963, the edges stained with water damage, a note scrawled on the back in fading pencil. Property of J. Edgar Hoover. You start to feel it now, don't you? That tightness in your stomach, that click in your memory like you've seen her face before, but can't say where. And the question, crawling up your spine, the one no one has dared ask until now. Who was she and why did every trace of her disappear? Except you. Because the next time she's seen, it's not in a small town in Louisiana. It's on a baby monitor in Chicago, and the baby says her name before he's even learned to speak. Don't look away now. The screen's about to go black. And when it comes back on, nothing will ever look the same again. The screen stutters, a flicker, just once, but you catch it. A frame too quick to register, but not quick enough to hide. You rewind. Pause. There, between static and stillness, is the woman's face again, closer, looking directly at you, then nothing, just the baby again. Swaying in the crib. Soft white noise humming beneath the monitor feed. You lean back, the kind of breath you take when your gut is telling you this isn't a video, it's something else. Not a live stream, not a recording, it's a window. But to what, exactly, you can't say. Maybe not even to where, but when. You're not supposed to be watching this, and yet you are. 3 days later, Griffin's name trends in a thread about real unsolved mysteries. Not the viral kind. Not Reddit's brand of true crime. That reads more like fan fiction. This one's quieter. A photo posted by a user with no history, no profile picture, no followers. Just a blurry screenshot of a coroner's report with a timestamp that hasn't happened yet. Griffin Walker. Cause of death. Undetermined. Larynx trauma consistent with self-inflicted damage. Eyes removed post-mortem. Signs of defensive wounds. None. The post disappears within minutes. But not before someone comments. He said she was in the static. He said she told him something. Over and over, until he started forgetting things. You scroll deeper, almost hypnotically, past layers of reposts and deleted threads, until you find one strange detail that shatters something. Inside you, a user named Maddie Harris uploaded grainy audio of a voicemail. You click. There's hesitation, like your fingers no longer feel like your own. It starts normal, then it doesn't. Hey, it's Maddie. I'm not sure if this is the right number. I found something. It's a tape. Old. But the voice on it. It's mine. Only I've never said those words before, and God, it's like I'm remembering something I never lived. Like something's missing, and I never noticed until now. You search for Maddie. Nothing. No trace of her voice. Line. Not a single matching profile. Just silence where a person should be. And that's when the second character enters. Only you don't meet her. You remember her. Which makes no sense. Because until today, she didn't exist in your mind at all. And yet there she is, in your phone contacts. No photo, just the name, Joanna Mercer. You recognize the name like a scar you didn't realize was under your skin. You don't remember adding it. You don't remember the last time you spoke. But when you scroll through old messages, there's a full thread. Dozens of messages, dates that stretch back months, conversations with emotional weight, intimate, raw. She knew you. She reminded you to take your meds. She asked how the dreams were. She once texted you. Do you remember the blue door from when you were 5? It wasn't supposed to open. You don't remember any blue door, but your hands are shaking now. And in one message, weeks old and unread, Joanna wrote, if you're seeing her again, you've already started forgetting. I need you to record yourself. Every night. Trust. No video. Trust only your voice. So you start. Hesitantly at first. Just a few seconds each night. Then longer. You speak into your phone before bed, recounting your day, your memories, the little things you're afraid of losing. And that's when the shift begins. Subtle, but undeniable. Night 1, your voice is steady. Calm. Night 5, you pause mid-sentence. You forget your neighbor's name, the one you've known for 10 years, the one who helped you shovel the sidewalk last winter. Night 11, you play back the audio and your voice isn't yours. It's deeper, slower, like something is dragging. Your words through a swamp of time. You don't remember recording it, but you're speaking with certainty, saying things you couldn't have known. The photo was taken in June. She wasn't alone. There was a man behind her. No face, just teeth. You stare at your phone the way someone might stare at a ticking bomb. You want to believe it's a prank, some cruel trick your mind is playing. But then you hear it. Not in the recording. In your room. The static, low, lingering like it's under the floorboards. Or behind the closet door. You turn. Slowly. There's nothing, but the dread remains. And it's not just you. You reach out to a friend. Eli, someone you've trusted since college. But when you call, his voice sounds wrong. Just slightly. Too clipped, too polished. You ask him questions only he would know, and he answers them. Everyone. Perfectly. But something in your chest won't let you believe it, not really. He says he doesn't remember Joanna, says you never had a friend by that name, but the call logs say otherwise. You find a voicemail from Eli dated 6 weeks ago. Joanna's in trouble. Whatever they took from her, she's trying to get it back. You need to stay awake. If you see the girl, don't listen. Don't let her speak. She can make you forget. That night, you dream of the blue door. Just like Joanna said, it's in your childhood home. Only it was never there. You remember the hallway, the smell of old paint and carpet, but not the door. It's ajar. A soft light pours out. Inside, a voice sings a lullaby you know. You've never heard. And yet you hum along like your soul remembers. A shadow passes across the crack of light. Then, suddenly, you wake up. You check your phone. You've been recording again, but this time not just voice. Video. You hit play. It's your room. Darkness breathing your own. But in the corner of the screen, something moves. Slowly. A silhouette. Just tall enough to reach the ceiling. And before the screen cuts to black, you hear your own voice whisper. Not afraid, but resigned. She's almost finished. You delete the video, then you regret it. Because the next night you wake to find a message written on your bathroom mirror. In condensation. 3 words. Looked close enough? Your name isn't Griffin. It never was. And when you look at your reflection, for a split second, you don't recognize yourself. That's the moment the memories start bleeding back. Flashes, not full scenes, just feelings. Screams from behind a glass wall, a name echoing through static. A government badge on your chest, soaked in blood. You're not just watching this story, you were part of it. And Joanna, she wasn't a friend. She was the one who pulled you out, until they made you forget. But now, you remember, or at least you think you do, because the next message you find on your phone says, "Meet me where she vanished before it starts again." The timestamp is tomorrow, midnight. But the message is dated 3 years ago, and now you have to ask yourself the one question no one dares speak out loud. What if none of this is a haunting? What if it's IA recovery? And what if they buried you because the truth you carry isn't what they want you to remember? The screen glitches again, but this time she's not in it. You are. She waited for him at the edge of the highway, midnight, just like the message said. Griffin's car idled, headlights cutting through a fog that hadn't been there a moment before, and smelled faintly of iron and old photographs. Joanna didn't wave. She didn't speak. She simply opened the passenger door and slid in like she'd done it before. Only this time, there was no casual catch-up, no "how've you been?" Just silence, and the sound of gravel crunching beneath the tires as they drove toward the place where she had vanished, where it all had started. According to the pieces Griffin had clawed back from the holes in his memory. He thought this, was it, the resolution, the moment where things would finally line up, where the flashes and recordings and slips in time would coagulate into something real. He had the voice memos, the messages, the surveillance video he wasn't supposed to have. Every breadcrumb felt like it had led him here. This ghost town stretch of Route 9 where time folds like an old map, and the air bends light in ways the mind tries to ignore. Joanna stared out the window. Then, finally, "You were part of that project, weren't you?" Griffin almost laughed, more from exhaustion than humor. "I was a cop." "No," she said, her voice cold and quiet. "You were a patient." He gripped the wheel. That wasn't right. It couldn't be. He remembered. The academy, the badge, the long nights. He remembered, didn't he? But she pulled out a file, manila, battered thick, and placed it on the dashboard. His name typed neatly on the tab. Walker, G, subject 21. Medical records, transcripts. Session notes dated from before his academy graduation. Pages of his evaluation, dissociative fugue states, memory splicing. Risk of projection hallucinations under stress. The handwriting was his own on the last page, a journal entry that ended mid-sentence. She said, "If I don't remember who I was before, the static, I'll never survive the second visit." He blinked hard, the way people do when a scream starts inside their chest but doesn't find a way out. The highway was gone. The fog had swallowed everything but the inside of the car, and even that was starting to feel off. The radio flicked, on without touch, static at first, then a voice. His voice. From a recording he hadn't made. "Joanna isn't real. She's the fragment they gave form. Don't trust what she says next." The world tilted. Joanna didn't move. She just stared at him with eyes that no longer matched the softness. He remembered. Too wide. Too still. Like she was watching him. The way you watch a wasp land on your skin. Not sure if it's safe to swat, or if that's the exact moment it stings. And then she smiled, a slow, aching smile that made his bones cold. "You needed a reason to believe this," she whispered. "So they gave you me." He slammed on the brakes. The file flew forward. But when he looked, no one was in the passenger seat. Not Joanna, not anyone, just that smell again, iron and magnolia, and the file. Still open, still showing page after page of therapy sessions he never remembered attending. Except now, the final page had changed. The handwriting wasn't his. It simply said, "Stop asking, you already know." That was when the memories began to crawl out of the cracks, not as scenes but sensations. A hallway, white, flickering lights, a chair with restraints, screaming, his own, being played back through speakers over and over until it turned to pleading. A mirror, not two-way, just glass, reflecting something behind him that never had a face. Just shape, just presence, and the voice, always the voice, whispers that folded inside themselves, echoes of things that weren't said, but felt. You're not crazy. They lied to you. And then it snapped into place. The false resolution, the perfect trap, make him believe he'd uncovered a memory, make him think the file was the truth, make him stop digging. But one detail unraveled it all. The name on the final document in the file wasn't Griffin Walker. It was his birth name, Jeremy Wyatt. A name he hadn't heard since he was 6. Since the foster system. Since the fire that supposedly took his mother and burned every photograph they ever had. And suddenly the timeline fractures. Because he remembers now what he never should have. The woman. The same woman from Route 9. She held his hand the night the flames crept up the hallway. She whispered something into his ear that made the screaming stop. Her eyes were calm. Her voice was a lullaby. And the fire never touched her. That's the part he could never explain. The part no one believed. The part that sent him into evaluation when he was 11. Then again when he turned 18 after reporting her face on a milk carton next to the word missing since 1963. He was never a cop. That was the identity they gave him when he started remembering. The project, the recordings, the baby who said her name. It was all connected, not coincidence, design. Because the file wasn't a discovery, it was a placement. A psychological dead end engineered to stop regression. That was the protocol. Let the subject spiral, then give them a truth to make the spinning stop. Except he didn't stop. He kept listening. And now the recordings had changed again. Each night, a new voice whispered over his own. A second layer. Sometimes it spoke in riddles, sometimes in facts, but one line repeated, "You've been here before." And now, watching the footage, a chill spread through him, because in a still frame of the baby monitor, clear as day, is a mirror behind the crib, and in that mirror, standing just outside the frame, is Griffin, or Jeremy, but not as he is now, younger, cleaner, in a uniform, smiling like he never left, like he never aged. The realization hits like a freefall. This isn't a linear story, it's a loop. A closed circuit with no entry point, no origin. Just versions of him, of her, of the lie. And each time someone gets too close to remembering, they're handed a false resolution. A pretty package of trauma and closure, wrapped just tight enough to prevent further thought. The disturbing event from the past, that mirrored his present, wasn't just his mother's fire. It was the other fires. The dozen cases of spontaneous disappearances at Route 9 from 1963 to 1982. Every single one involving someone who'd claimed to see a woman vanish into thin air. Every single one followed by a fire, a total loss of property, records wiped. The twist? Each fire began in the same room, the one with the mirror. The same room now visible in the baby monitor. And the baby? Not random, not unrelated, genetic match, to Jeremy Wyatt. A child he never had, or so he thought. Because now, as he rewinds the final recording, past the layers of static and distortion, past his own voice gasping in fear, he hears a baby coo, and then her voice. He's ready now. Suddenly, everything you thought you understood breaks apart. This wasn't about a traffic stop, or a missing woman, or a corrupt cop. It was about legacy, about inheritance, not through blood, but through memory. You were meant to watch this, not because it's a story, but because it's your mirror. And the reflection, it's already starting to change. It begins with a symbol, not a drawing, not quite. More like a shape, meant to be misunderstood. 3 lines converging at impossible. Angles, always seen from the corner of your eye, never head on. Griffin doesn't notice it at first, though it's been showing up for days, burned into wood grain, etched behind peeling paint, flickering in reflections that don't match the room. But you do. You see it now. On the edge of the baby monitor's frame, in the rust pattern on the side of the abandoned patrol car, he finds parked in the middle of the woods, keys still in the ignition, engine long dead, on a paper coffee cup left on the hood of his car with no footprints in the morning frost. He stares at the cup for a long time, like it's going to tell him something he's not ready to hear. Then his phone buzzes. Unknown number. 1 image. No message. A newspaper clipping. The headline reads, "Dozens report identical dream before disappearance. Authorities blame environmental contaminants." It's dated 2004. A town he's never been to. Names he doesn't recognize at first, but then he sees it. Bottom of the 3rd column. Witness described seeing a woman in a red coat speaking to a man who called her Joanna. He drops. The phone, there are others. He knows this now, not just him. Not just voices in the night or broken memories stitched into dreams. People have been living around this thing. This presence. For decades. Not everyone sees her. Not everyone remembers, but the ones who do, they're marked. They get quiet, they withdraw, they lose time. And some of them, like him, begin to record. Not out of vanity, not paranoia, out of desperation, to prove to themselves they still exist. He finds them. In the comments section of a video that shouldn't exist. Grainy VHS static, uploaded to a shadow-drenched forum with no title, no tags, just one phrase in all caps. Do you still see her? The video flickers and shakes, a broken feed. From a 90s baby monitor, but behind the noise is something else. A pattern, a frequency in the static. And when you freeze the video at exactly 4:16, only then for a single frame, you see the symbol again, clear, etched on the wall behind the crib. There's a comment pinned beneath the video from a user named DeepChannel00. You were right all along. We thought it was dreams. It's memory, ours, rewritten, yours, restored. If you're reading this, you're part of it now. Don't look directly at her. Don't say the name out loud. They'll hear it. Griffin clicks the profile. It's gone. Deleted. But something compels him to search Deep Channel Psy in his emails. And there it is. A draft. Never sent. Never typed. Just there in his drafts folder. Written in his own tone, his own words. But he doesn't remember writing. It's addressed to Joanna. They're watching through us. We aren't who we were. The badge, the house, even my hands. None of it feels real anymore. The dreams are getting worse. I'm seeing their side. The control room, the mirrors that don't reflect light. They're studying us. They're not even hiding it anymore. Joanna, I think we might be simulations we might have always been. His stomach turns, because at that moment the lights in his room dim, not flicker. Dim. Like someone slowly turning a dial behind his walls. And in the dead center of the darkness, just for a moment, he sees a red coat swaying like it's caught in wind that isn't there. He doesn't move. He blinks, and it's gone. But he knows it now. Knows the truth, and how it twists back on itself. Every false lead, every comforting lie, every memory carefully placed like a stone in a path designed to loop. It was never to protect him. It was to protect them from what he was becoming. The deeper he digs, the more his body forgets, but his mind remembers. His reflection doesn't blink and sink anymore. He wakes with bruises in the shape of hands too small to be his own, and he's not alone. Other faces start appearing in the footage. People you wouldn't notice unless you slowed the video down to single frames. A woman crying silently in a mirror where no mirror should be. A child, mouth open like he's screaming, standing in the corner of a police interview room. That was supposedly empty. A man with no eyes smiling directly into the camera, time-stamped 1993, before Griffin was even born. but they're all connected by one thing: the symbol. It shows up in every instance, burned into wallpaper, tattooed under fingernails, hidden in white noise spectrograms, and when Griffin traces it back, using archives, underground databases, forum code left behind by vanished users, he finds something else. A file, not text. Audio. And when he plays it, something shifts in the room. His ears pop like pressure changing on an airplane, and the voice comes through. Not his own, not Joanna's. Someone else. The observer. Not frantic, not haunting. Just watching. You think they broke you, the voice says, but you were never whole. You are the echo of something we lost, and you've been searching ever since. Not for truth, for return. Griffin's mouth is dry. He tries to stop the playback, but it won't pause. The voice continues. Joanna was your tether, not your guide. She was never real. She was your anchor when you started to drift. We let you build her, let you need her, so you wouldn't find us. Silence. Then, but now you have. Suddenly, every dream, every flicker, every piece of footage makes a new kind of sense. A reverse logic, like everything was being shown backwards. Griffin was never investigating something that happened. He was being pulled back to something that hadn't yet occurred. The final clue doesn't come as sound or vision. It comes as a smell. Something sweet, rotting, familiar. Like magnolias soaked in gasoline, it leaks through his vents, settles into the fabric of his clothes, his skin, and when he looks at his wall, finally full of tape, drawings, notes, old screen captures, he sees it clearly. All of it was placed by someone else, because none of it is in his handwriting, and none of the photos have him in them, and his reflection isn't moving. He touches the glass. Cold. Still. A smile grows in the mirror's version of his face. Slow, like it's remembering a secret too heavy to speak, and the screen cuts to black. But there's one final flicker. A live feed. You're in, off. It was because the story wasn't his. It was yours, and it's been recording you the entire time. Griffin stands alone in the dimly lit room, the air thick with the scent of magnolias and gasoline. The walls, once adorned with familiar photographs and notes, now seem foreign, as if they belong to someone else's life. The symbol, the 3 lines converging at impossible angles, glows faintly on the floor beneath his feet, pulsing with a rhythm that matches his heartbeat. He recalls the voice from the audio file, the observer who claimed, "You think they broke you, but you were never whole." The words echo in his mind, challenging his perception of reality. Was Joanna ever real? Were his memories truly his own, or constructs designed to keep him from uncovering a deeper truth? As he grapples with these questions, a sudden realization dawns upon him. The symbol, the dreams, the recurring scent, they're all connected, pieces of a puzzle that, when assembled, reveal a horrifying image. His life has been orchestrated, manipulated by an unseen force. The observer wasn't just a passive entity. It was the architect of his reality. In a moment of clarity, Griffin understands that the truth is both his salvation and his destruction. To accept it means to dismantle the very foundation of his identity, to let go of the comforting lies that have defined his existence. But to reject it is to remain a pawn in a game he never agreed to play. Tears stream down his face as he whispers, "I choose to see." The room trembles. The symbol intensifies its glow, and the walls begin to dissolve, revealing a vast expanse of darkness punctuated by countless symbols, each representing another manipulated life. He is not alone. As he steps into the void, a final thought anchors him. In the end, it wasn't about finding the truth, but about having the courage to face it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for stories you were never meant to hear. Until next time, remember, some truths don't want to be found.